DJ Beck, one Lord Fader, mic check. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. DJ Beck, one Lord Fader, mic check. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Lord Fader coming back at your YouTube family with another video. This video right here is one that I felt like I had to make because I've been down the rabbit hole today. Looking at YouTube videos, and the subject of most of these YouTube videos is our women, specifically black women. So I asked the question, is it over for the modern black woman or the modern woman in general? I mean, are they useless? Is it possible to have a relationship, a good relationship with a modern woman? Some of the things I've been hearing, and I must commend some of the young ladies, some of them that some of the young ladies who escape my memory right now as far as their names. I've only just begun looking at what some of the young women have said, and of course I've looked at the Kevin Samuels videos, even the Tommy Sotomayor videos, the O'Shea Jackson videos, people like that. And a lot of those guys have points, but most of the guys seem to lay the blame 100% on the women. I do not share that sentiment. I believe that if you're gonna say that the man is the leader, that a man is a leader, even from a spiritual sense, if you're gonna say the man is the head, he's the spiritual representation, a physical representation of God. We are the avatar. We were created in God's image, to basically act as he would act. So that means that everything that trickles down is our fault. And the woman's, I do believe her function is to be a helpmate to a man, and that they're supposed to do positive things in this world together. And I think they both have a duty to each other. And one of the things that gets lost when you talk the way that I'm talking, when I say that the man is the head, is the responsibility that goes along with that. As a man, you are solely responsible for your woman's well-being, for bringing her along, for teaching her. So it starts with your daughter, as far as a lot of these fathers or whatnot. It starts with your daughters. You have to be an example of what a man is, so that a woman will have an instinctive baseline as to what to choose. So I know some married black men right now, and I'm noticing a common theme with these guys is that they get up, they go to work every day, they come home every day, they're involved with their children, they're involved with their children's lives, they place education as a high priority in the family. And if you're a young woman, you see this and you may not even understand that this is imprinting on you. So at the very least, when you start dealing with men, you're going to want a man that gets up every day, goes to work every day, come home and is involved or whatnot. I think a lot of misrepresentation has happened, that men have been hoodwinked in a sense with this sexual revolution. All men want to sow their wild oats, a king came from Zamunda to sow them wild oats. So yeah, every man does that. And we typically do that in our 20s, where we run through a bunch of women, present company accepted. And that we get a baseline and we're just having fun and we haven't come into our own yet or whatnot. Well, what's going on right now is no matter how old a man gets, he's still living like that. And you're choosing the thought over the good woman. A lot of times I'll hear men say, well, you met that one, you just messed it up. Well, I'm here to tell you that works both ways. Every man has met that woman that was good for him. Now, she might not have been, had the fattest butt. She might not have had the biggest breasts. She might not have had the sexy weave on. She might have been rocking her own hair. But she cared about you. And I can think of examples. I can think of many women along the way that I wouldn't deal with for such certain reasons, for whatever dumbass reason. And come to find out, those women were probably the women that I should have been dealing with. I chased, I'm like, Bill DeVoe, big butt and a smile, I chased it, and it didn't really get me anywhere. And when I look back on those relationships, you know what I think about it? Even though those women were nice looking, I think, man, I should have never talked to her. And that's true. If we want women to change, men, we got to change. We got to stop giving those women power that don't behave a certain way. Because what we tell them is this is okay to behave this way. We're saying, okay, all the guys' attention that you get, you're getting it because you got the big butt, you got the fake weave, you got the, you dress provocatively, you're not valuing anything of value. That's what we tell them. So they grow up like that. Then we're not in the homes. You don't think about practicing sexual discipline. You don't think about that, because I didn't think about it. I'm not sitting up here preaching to people like I'm perfect. I ain't perfect. I didn't practice sexual discipline either. So we have these kids, but I can tell you, I got 2 kids, none of them are out of wedlock. And I married their mothers. And I married their mothers for one primary reason, is that I did not want to be responsible for creating a bastard. So my children have my last name. They are my children. And there's no doubt about that. So that's another thing. To make a bastard in this world means something. And I know that's hard talk, and a lot of people don't want to hear it, and most women are not going to agree. But when you have a child out of wedlock, it's a bastard. And that's how much you think of your child when you do that. Same for a guy. When you allow yourself to not practice sexual discipline and have a child out of wedlock, you just created a bastard. And it's your responsibility before it's her responsibility. Yeah, society's going to give that child to her, but it's your responsibility. It is. And, a lot of people say, well, he didn't have to have sex. He could have abstained, or he could have covered it up. And that's true. These are choices. You make the choices you make. Like I said, it's not women's fault for doing what they're doing nowadays. I just watched a video on a young woman. It's a TikTok video, and I'm not going to mention who the woman was or anything, but she was a nice looking lady, but she was a young lady in her early 20s, and she proceeded to describe and rate the guys that she had been with. And she mentioned that she had sex with a guy because she was in love with his brother. And that right there disturbed me to my core, but it did make me understand what's going on out here as far as these women. Nowadays women think that they're men. They think that they can have and do what men do, and that includes looking at sexual partners like men. But here's the thing. If I have a container and I only put my valuables in that container, and it's my container, and no one else has access to that container, and that container holds my valuables, so that container is not only valuable to me, but it's valuable to the world, because the world looks at it like, wow, that's a great container that guy got. All right, cool. Now, if I got a container that I go around and everybody throws their trash in, but I have to maintain the container, I got to take the container, dump the trash out, wash the trash, wash the container, make it clean again for just somebody else to come along and dump their trash in it. Women don't understand is that that's how we look at you guys. And not even that how we look at you guys, but that's how you are. That's what you are. Think of a woman as a lock. A lock protects your valuables, much like the container that I was talking about, right? Lock protects your valuables. All right. Okay, who has the key to that lock? Does one person have the key? If one person has the key to that lock, then that person's valuables are protected. If 2 people have a key to that lock, then 2 people have access to one person's valuables. Now imagine many keys can open that lock. That's a shitty lock. Now, on the flip side, a man is a key. And this is a metaphor I'm sure you guys can visualize. A man is a key. A man opens locks, right? Now, some men are a master key. They open many locks. How valuable is that man that he can open many locks? He is more valuable than the lock that can be opened by many keys. This is the core principle that women misunderstand. You're different. You have to guard certain things differently. And the valuables that you guard just so happens to be the next generation of the human race. So we are where we are. Now we're there because we do have men that unlock that lock, and then as soon as they get the valuables out of it, they run away. We got that. That happens. A lot of times we're driven away. But then again, we could go back to that person's father, that person's family life. They don't know how to be in a relationship because they weren't shown. And here's another thing. Women, your picking abilities suck. Your ability to pick males suck. And every woman I've been with can tell you that. I am not no person you should be picking. Maybe I'm trying to approach being that, but that's the thing. I'm working on that person. I'm working on that person in the mirror. I'm trying to be somebody that somebody would say, hey, I would want to be with that person. Before, I never looked at it like that. And I've ran across one woman in my life that was perfect for me. Feminine, fit, submissive, successful. Matter of fact, she would have drove me. I'd probably be a millionaire if I had stayed with that woman. But I was a total loss. I was broken. I had a broken family life, and I translated that through her. And she picked poorly because, women do that. You tend to pick based on the wrong criteria. One story I would like to tell, and then I'm going to get off here because I know I'm probably boring people because nobody really wants to hear the truth nowadays. The truth is a lie, a lie is the truth. That's a whole nother video. But I was in college, and I noticed in class every day, I would go to class every day. Caveat, I was high. I ain't gonna lie. I smoke a blunt and go to class, but I was going and I was passing. I might have drifted off in the middle of a few conversations or two, but I was going. But one thing that I noticed, all the females were going. This was a predominantly black. This is a black college, predominantly black college. So all the females was going to class, and they were going and they were having, great discussions and engaging with the instructor and all that stuff. And I felt, like, wow, man, they're really learning and stuff. And I looked around and there was one other guy in the class, nerdy looking guy. This guy was Urkel before Urkel. He just didn't have glasses. But I asked this guy, hey man, what's your major? And he says engineering. I believe computer engineering. And I was like, wow. Okay, and by the way, I was going to be a composer. That's another story. But anyway, so he was not your attractive guy, probably about 5'5", very thin. He didn't have the nicest clothes or whatnot. But understand, at this college, there were many black dudes that attended the college. I never saw any of them in class, but when you're on the yard going to class, everybody wants you to join their cipher, hit the blunt on the way to class. And everybody, and I would see these guys selling dope. One particular example, mother and father bought the kid an Escalade. He proceeds to go to college and just sell dope until he gets kicked out of college. But guess what? He had all the women. All the women wanted him, right? So about, I don't know, halfway through the semester, we got into a discussion. I forget what led to it. Probably was in sociology or something, where all of these females gathered around and they started talking about the men. So they looked up and they saw me and they basically made a circle around me. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So they proceed to start asking me, hey, why are there no good men? How come I can't find no good man? These dudes is trash and blah, 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 blah. And I sat there and I listened and I said, okay, I'll tell you where to find a good man. And I pointed to Mr. Urkel over there in the corner. So you see that guy right there? They were like, yeah. I said, that's who you should be dating. And every last one of them to a fault, curl their face up and said, ugh. All right. I said, now he's going to go get him an engineering degree. He's going to go get him a high paying job over 6 figures. He's going to go and buy a nice house, have the nice car, be able to afford them $500,000 suits, and he's going to look nice. And then here you come with 2 kids, 3 kids, 2 or 3 different baby daddies. You still might look good, but all of your baggage, all of your time wasted on these Pookies and these Ray Rays, and we know how this story goes as old as time. I said, and then you're going to want that guy to marry you with all the bodies that you got. Of course, you're not going to tell them about any of them because you never do anything. All you women out here only slept with 1 or 2 guys. Oh, I'm not a whore. You know how many times a hoe that told me I'm not a hoe? With the body count you got, if you're not a holding, you Jason Voorhees is what you is. You got body count, you got the high, you Ted Bundy. But anyway, and some wheels started turning in some of these females, and I guess the majority of them probably cast that off like, this guy don't know what he's talking about. And to some extent, maybe I didn't. But I just felt like that illustrated the whole problem with women today. I don't think that they're worthless, but I think that modern women nowadays, if they're under 30, it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause because society has doubled down on the behavior. And men, all we want to do is have sex, so we accept the behavior. If men just stop accepting the behavior, we could cut twerking out tomorrow. Just don't pay them no attention. Because attention is what they crave most. The last relationship I was in, she put attention above love. I actually loved this person. I would have took care of this person. But she wanted to have attention, and every guy that paid her some attention, if he had to give for gab, guess what? Another body got racked up. And that's the problem. I wasn't valuable to her. Attention was. So a lot of these women, just like I met that one woman who was perfect for me, she probably met the person that was perfect for her at that point. But she probably had many people she met that was good for her. But that excitement, that attention, that the next guy paying me some attention, and you don't even have the willpower to keep your legs closed and accept the attention. That's why men, women that you dealing with, no male friends because they're never friends. They're never friends. All that dude trying to do is wait on the time where you do something to upset her, and he's been orbiting, and bam, all of a sudden that one day he gets it. She might even regret it the next day, and then come to you, and guess what? You won't know anything. And then you'll see them eating lunch together, and that's a big one. If a woman is at work and she eating lunch with a guy every day, she's screwing him. Take that as just a little piece of advice to look out for, guys. I know a lot of guys out there going like, yes, if your woman is eating lunch with a guy every day, she's screwing him or she's about to screw him. A woman that you dealing with that has a man should not have male friends at all. So, in conclusion, I don't think that there is a chance for any woman under 30. And I think it's a slim chance for any other woman, especially to be married. I just think that men are not men nowadays. We do accept everything, and we don't hold people accountable for anything. We're so selfish that all we want is that moment. We want to do what we do in that moment, and we just let it ride. Then we wonder why we get the women that we get. We get them because these are the women that we allowed to be in our society. We allowed that. So, I can't really cry a river for myself. I can't really cry a river for all these men that's on YouTube talking about, the issues with women. I can't really cry a river for these guys on YouTube arguing with women because, wow, you're never going to convince a dog that it's a cat. You're just never gonna do that. You're wasting your energy. What you do is you teach the dog catcher about the behavior of the dog. That's what you do. You just teach the man about the behavior so he can navigate it and get whatever outcome he wants. But to think that we're gonna use logic to change a set of people that don't value logic is idiotic. It's a waste of time. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same results. That's why I see a lot of these manosphere, engaging people. I mean, look at how the Fresh and Fit guys turned out. Doing that right there, man, like I said, those guys was ultimately, trying to get laid, trying to, do what everybody do, take advantage of a situation while trying to present that they were actually doing something for the community, while trying to present that they were trying to gain understanding of women. And it just wasn't happening, man. So that's my take on it. That's my perspective. Like it, love it, hate it, comment. Don't be afraid to, subscribe to the channel, man. I'm small, but I got good music, as you can see, going on for you guys, man. You can check out my music at www.lordfaderbiz. You can also check out my partner, DJ Meg One. He does album art. If you're in need of album art and you're in need of a single art or whatnot, the man is dope. I don't have any examples right now, but maybe I'll flash some examples up here for you guys so that you can see after I edit this video what he does. And you can locate him at www.djmech1.com. Check him out, man. And he has nice beats too. You know, I love his beats. We've recorded some albums together. You can check those out. And one thing about the music that I do, I need to clarify for people, you know, I don't do no hood booger music. I don't do no crunk. I don't do no south. I don't do no whatever it is that you guys do. What I put is my perspective and what I believe to be the truth in music, so that I think people should be able to get something from it. I mean, just to stimulate your lower chakra and put a nice bass tone in some music for you to shake your ass to. It's a time and a place for that. But if that's all there is, then you can see why our society is doing this right here. Because we're following idiots. The blind are leading the blind. So if you really want to check something out, go ahead. And I might throw a song up on the end of this to give you guys an example of what we're talking about. So I want to just tell everybody I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support that you're giving me. Peace.
Why do you keep calling yourself a black queen? When all you really are is a dick fiend. Queens don't follow other people, they rule. You don't do anything a black queen do. Having babies by the jesters and the crooks. You wearing fake hair, you don't like your look. Fake bitch, you used up, no one can tell you a thing. You had your fun, now you want a black king. Now first of all, let's get something straight. It ain't all black women that I hate, nah. It's just them hoes that be living like tricks. All they do is move from dick to dick, expecting you to treat them better than the last dude. Kinda funny how they got a bad attitude. Relationships with married men like it's forever. When they get dropped, tell them to get his shit together. Living in the world that don't have birth control. Who's the daddy? The bitch don't know. 3 different kids by 3 different niggas, and ain't one of them making 3 figures. Broke as hell, but she keep her hair hat on. Can't afford Similac, but she got a phone, so she can stay on YouTube and Facebook Live, trying to convince everybody to believe her lies. Why do you keep calling yourself a black queen? When all you really are is a dick fiend. Queens don't follow other people, they rule. You don't do anything a black queen do. Having babies by the jesters and the crooks. You wearing fake hair, you don't like your look. Fake bitch, you used up, no one can tell you a thing. You had your fun, now you want a black king. Pound that makeup on like cake batter, but won't take care of your skin, that don't matter. Always talking like you some psychologist. When's the last time you saw the gynecologist? Don't act like you don't know your coochie stink. That ain't me, bitch, and I don't care what you think. You want them thugs till you find out that they not shit. But you trying to raise your son to be hood rich. Teaching your daughters to lay back and spread their leg. No education, so they can't keep their baby fed. Without white daddy, still they think they doing something. All because your mama chose a man that wasn't nothing. So it's kinda hard for me to blame white folks when our women walk around like a big joke. So somebody please tell me what's the punchline? Call yourself a black queen, bitch, you out your mind. Why do you keep calling yourself a black queen? When all you really are is a dick fiend. Queens don't follow other people, they rule. You don't do anything a black queen do. Having babies by the jesters and the crooks. You wearing fake hair, you don't like your look. Fake bitch, you used up, no one can tell you a thing. You had your fun, now you want a black king.
And I will always tell you the truth. Always. I was never a prostitute. I was never an escort. There's no man out there that can say that he actually paid, for my services. There's no man out there that could say that and actually be telling the truth and got some legitimate proof that he paid for some sex.